I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. First order of business is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting of 1/11/2023.
Move the minutes be approved as written.
Second.
Any additions, corrections, deletions?
I changed that one.
Other than the ones that we did, email?
That was the warrant.
That's the warrant, this is the minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right, those in favor? Okay. Thank you. Selectmen's comments. Colin.
Just a couple of things. I called Bath Electric and regarding the efficiency main upgrades to the lighting in the building. I'm still waiting to hear back what the game plan for that might be. I also received quotes from 2 vendors to do public Wi-Fi access points in the municipal building. I'm now waiting to hear back from Maine Connectivity Authority for final approval that we can use the grant money for that purpose.
Okay.
That's it.
Allison.
That one thing, I had 2 things. One, I'm gonna wait till we talk about roads, because I'm sure we're gonna talk about the construction. There was something that Jason might have seen on Facebook the other day that sort of sparked this whole conversation about, help for seniors, and, is there something that we can help with, whether it's a fund or whatever, to help different people. And so I said I would bring it up here just in case there's some ideas that, I don't think we want to set up a fund, because, I don't know, maybe we do, like a heating fund, but then we'd have to figure out, well, what could people use it for? Could they use it for fuel, and which we already have a fuel thing, but what if they wanted, like in this case, it was somebody to plow their driveway, or or somebody to pick up groceries, or whatever. And I had said that what we do is usually point them to social services that we pay for, right, every year at town meeting. And then I also said I would reach out to the 2 ministers in our area that we have talked to. So
I think that would be very difficult to come up with correct criteria for every scenario. That would be mine. It would be a quagmire of.
that was my first thought. So instead, I reached out. I did hear back from Clay. He said there's somebody in our church that plows. I don't know if he's taking new customers, but anyway, he'd get back to me and whatever.
I think the other one responded to Pastor Webb.
He did?
Yeah,
Okay.
he responded to
not-
you. I was on that thread, but he just said some more information.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with David. I think that would be really difficult. When you have general assistance, right, we have these other programs, I know some don't.
And also they have staff to do it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
tricky thing. but-
Yep, that's it.
Jason.
Happy birthday to Allison today, right? It's your birthday. And then,
39?
39, they had the 39th anniversary of my 25th birthday or something, I don't know.
that's not enough, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I just can't do math. Bet you know what it is.
Oh shoot, I forgot now. Obviously, the Denver is coming next Tuesday to work on the meeting house.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can get done, because I know the holiday program or Christmas program's coming up. And I thought there was one other thing, and I already forgot. Oh, I know what it was. So, we reached out to Ruth at Kelt. You and I will be meeting with her in the next few weeks
Okay.
to catch up on the next steps. We did get the grant money, I think you already know that. These guys, you all know that we got reimbursed for the tree cutting and the things that were done. We've got to be thinking about next year for the,
Where do we stand with the state down here on this intersection? Is that something that we should keep
Well-
squeaking wheel on?
actually, I know my dad's talked, so Doug Coombs is working on 2 or 3 projects, DOT engineer, and he called the other day about this down here. And they're working on their design criteria or whatever they have, specifications, just to confirm that we actually own the land, which we do. Yeah, for some reason, he wasn't sure if we owned each side of the road, and it's like the town owns everything there. He asked when we acquired it, it was what, 80, 81 or whatever, from the property, it was all one piece. So They're working on it.
Okay.
And our next step, obviously,
Yeah, have we ever got the plan for the septic move?
I talked to Jerry the other day, he's got the information, as you know, there's some field work done, we have not gotten it yet, but I think that this winter, we need to work on how we're gonna do that, specifications, or how we're gonna get that stuff out of the bid. The meeting with Ruth is to make sure that, there was a little hiccup with the reimbursement, and to make sure that we're gonna get that better as we go along.
I think we should touch base with the water district too, see if we can get that hydrant moved.
I agree with you, I think the hydrant needs to be relocated out here, and yeah, I agree, I think that all that's gonna.
And this, none of this has to do with taking the dike out yet, right?
No. No, our conversations with her need to be talking about the schedule has been accelerated, it's been accelerated some, you know,
Okay.
they're ahead of schedule, so I think that this next season, that our work needs to be done out here so that they can do their road work.
Right.
But anyway,
Okay.
we'll keep her informed as we go, that's it.
I have nothing. Public comment. Any from the public want to speak to us? Debbie?
No.
Have you guys set the date for the?
Yes.
Town administrator's report, please.
So, Jason and I talked to another person by the name of Gordon Wiley. He's, does heat pumps that was reached, so, he came in, a little bit higher than Mid-Coast. He called after the elections and said that he really wanted to do the job and was gonna come out and look at the unit. I have yet to hear from him. He said he was gonna stop by and let me know he was here. That was Monday. So I just went ahead and I talked with Mid-Coast, and they normally require a third of the deposit. And I said, well, I don't feel comfortable paying a third of the deposit if we're not getting in until February. So they said, then give us $500 and we're good with that. So they said we could probably get in sooner than February, so I just think we should just go with that.
I have no problem with
Yeah.
that.
The other price was substantially higher.
Mhm.
He just wanted, he spoke to Kim and I don't know, was it voting or wherever?
Yes, it was
And
voting.
he wanted to know if he could come down and look at it to see if it could be
I think
repaired.
call, yeah.
But I think we all know now that it's 12 years or whatever the,
Yes, so I don't wanna keep waiting and missing our window of getting that taken care of. On another note, so to pay for that, are we using municipal property reserves for that, or, cause we can't use the catastrophic funds for that, cause that's fire rate.
yeah, no, we still have some left in the.
Municipal property
Yeah.
reserves, okay,
I don't see how we could do anything else.
Okay.
I don't see how we could use ARPA or anything like that.
no, alright.
Do you know, just round numbers off the top of your head, how much money we do have left in that?
Any municipal, no, that's top of my head.
Did it seem like it was?
It was like, it was getting pretty
Isn't it
little.
in the low 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about this next,
Yes.
we're running low, you know, and,
Well, I think we should start a budget,
yeah.
or finance,
Like a
building maintenance.
Capital reserve.
Yeah,
Building
I think
maintenance
we're
account.
gonna have, we've done pretty well stretching it
Yeah.
as far as we did. We've stretched it, 8, 10 years?
Oh, we're, or longer, yeah, it's been a long time, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's time at town meeting in the spring to put some money on the warrant to replenish it. And we've gotta keep the buildings up.
Yes.
But thank you for reaching out to Gordon.
Yeah, they would recommend everyone, two or three people.
So somebody called and said that the flag across the street at the meeting house is just battered and needs to be replaced. Do I just take that out of the Nequasit church fund?
You know, I think there's another flag inside the building.
Is there?
Let me go check tomorrow.
Okay.
It-
I looked over there today and it is
It
ripped
is,
pretty well.
it is, the wind did something to it.
Yeah, so I would like to get that
I'm
taken down.
pretty sure there's another flagpole or whatever in there.
And you know, I think we have some flags around here. I don't know if we could attach it to another,
Yeah, if
We
you,
have plenty of
if
flags.
you didn't,
otherwise I would just order one.
yeah, would your funding cover it? If we had to buy one, I mean, you have some
I don't know why not.
funds in your
Yeah.
meeting house,
I don't know why not.
Okay. Still waiting on the carry forwards and balance adjustments from the auditor, so, if everybody's looking at their budget like Jack.
it's overdrawn.
Still a little in the red.
I know,
Drawn by your thoughts.
is there any timeline on
I
that?
have not heard from them.
Wow.
I figured that they would have be done by now, but.
Doesn't the road commissioner have to cover any overages?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Drawn, isn't it?
Well, the funny thing is, we get our little audit book at some point, right?
Yes, so sooner or later, yeah. Another interesting thing is, and I think Jason is aware of this because he got a phone call. So we received a call from the state coroner's office, and back in 1986, a body washed upon shore on Ram Island, and they have been holding on to this body since 1986, and they are now telling us that the town is now responsible for the burial. So, so I called DHHS and I said, are we technically responsible for the burial of this person because we don't know who, he was never identified. So DHHS says no, that we do not, that it is the state.
The storage is what they're after.
Yeah, I find it very intriguing, so yes, so yeah. But they thought we might have some paperwork on it, and I wouldn't know where even to begin on this.
I gotta tell you, this is the first I've ever heard of
Have
it.
you ever
But they
heard
still,
of it?
oh yeah, but they still haven't identified.
No,
No, still an
No.
unidentified individual. Right?
absolutely.
Mhm.
So, and I have to, when I fill out a GA application, I have to fill it out of who it is. So, you know, it's just very odd, very strange request from the coroner's office.
Tell us they would like to have a few more years.
Absolutely.
You just hang on to that guy.
Make it 50 and then we'll.
Yeah, exactly. It could be more.
We'll make them a
Yeah.
memorial.
And that's all I have. That's all I have.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to?
Oh, yeah, one more, I forgot, I might have, since we're not gonna have another meeting until, for
December.
weeks. The tree lighting program is December, unless something changed at the meeting yesterday, is December 3rd at 5 o'clock. And the Special Events Committee is working on a program.
That's gonna be at the Nequasset meeting.
And we at the meeting, yes.
With heat.
With you.
All right. Road Commissioner, Mr. Shaw.
Everything?
I do not.
Nothing really, everything's pretty good shape, in shape it's in. I did have a little conference with the engineering company about the paving of the Nequasset, where the blasted rock was, and the road humped up and so on. I drove over several times and looked at it. It looked to me like the rock that was impacted over here, that's out of the trench, was blown near the surface. They took the hot top off, and they put on just enough 1.5 or type A gravel to smooth it, and which has made a good surface, no question about it. But I think that we are probably gonna have some real clunkers keep working their way up through. So I told Wright Pierce that I was quite concerned about it, and he said that was proper procedure, and we don't agree, but that's okay. So I think you will come back in on this.
So you have to deal with Wright and
Pierce.
Right here.
We'll go with
Wright and Pierce, rather than Ranger directly?
Well, I think in this case, yes. Because Wright and Pierce is the ultimate authority to say yay, no. This wouldn't have been done over the years that we've been involved with this kind of work. This would never have been allowed this way. Maybe it's something new, I don't know. But I know when they blasted over here in the trench, the rest of the road got hauled up, as you know it did. And so they took the hot top off and took the gravel back, smoothed it, and then paved over it. So what that means is we call nuggets, but they're right there now. In fact, I looked while they were preparing this, and they were rubbing right over the top of a piece of big ledge. So that ledge rock is only under the pavement by the thickness of the pavement. And it's gonna come back around sometime. It may not be this year, it may not be tonight, but it will be sometime.
So does it kind of work its
So
way up?
have they reached the end of the Nequasset Road?
No, they're 400-500 feet short, I would guess, as of now. They're moved out, they're getting more paving to do.
Is they lay down area, are they done with that?
I haven't been down there, but supposedly they're gonna be moving out of there.
Yeah, it appears that there's no more pipe work this year. The way down area is getting cleaned up. they've paved everything on Middle Road, I'd say, or patched it. And the cross road is ready for the final part, right? But I gotta say, I propose that the board have Kim or somebody write a letter. I propose that this, when spring comes, before anybody is allowed to start work again, we need to have a talk. I mean, the road right now, the cross
About
road,
expectations?
well, there's a lot of misconfusion here, and I know that the road commission's been deals with them every day, but they, one day they said they're gonna do the 9 feet, then we got the email the other day that said, don't worry, this is all temporary paving, we'll mill it out. Well, what does that mean? Are they gonna mill out all this spaghetti stuff? The road, he's right, you drive it in the dark, and you can see all the dimples and the lumps, they've got some of them knocked down, and I can't imagine winter and spring are gonna make things better, but, and I think the state road's crappy.
So they're finished with the middle road too?
Well, wow, they probably think they are.
Just to give you a quick, my quick scenario of what happens here, over the years, they've determined that they can drill a bigger pattern. We used to drill a 2-foot pattern, every 2 feet you put a hole, put the dynamite in, blow it, and so on. That being done that way, you would keep your confinement to the trench area. What they're doing today is they're using bigger holes with 5 and 6 foot spacings, so this hole blows up way over here.
Okay.
Over there.
And that's what's happened over there on the road. They're not confining it to the ditch area.
Yep.
Some of the rocks, some of the pieces they've taken out there are big as a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm confused about everything they do. Now, the other night, I went up in the Quasset Road, and the temporary traffic light was red, and I sat there for, I don't know, 8-10 minutes, and it never turned green, so I said, the heck of it, started driving through, I got to the other end, and the one on the other end was red.
Yeah, I said the same
They
thing.
just go off and leave both of them on red, you know? I mean, it just seems like,
And those
they
are
don't
not
have a clue what they're
on,
doing on anything.
they're timed, they're not censored. So
Ranger.
you wait for nothing.
Well, so they
Even
went,
when they go red and green, you're waiting for nothing now.
That's right, and the other problem they have with those kind of lights, and I was over there tonight, when the light on one end says green, and you drive part way, you turn in the driveway.
yeah.
Well,
You
this
don't-
kind of.
the lights don't know this, you know, they're great when you're working there, because you can run them remotely, and you can see, I don't know if you notice the back of the light tells you what light's on, they're construction light. But tonight they're up over here, because they've got an area ready to pave in.
Right.
It's a final area, I'd say, for this year. The question you had, they're not down on 127.
Okay.
They've paved in what they disturbed.
No, but I mean, are they done for the season?
I drove it an hour and a half ago, and it looks like they're all done paving for, and it's.
Are the lights
Well, there's more to do on the
Because the.
There was it, but Middle Road looks like it's paved in,
Yeah.
the lights are gone, there's stuff's out of the road.
Well, then maybe my concern is moot, because this had to do with the lights being,
Yeah.
and people going, and then traffic coming this way, and actually it was Kelly James who pointed out that there's a driveway where her mother-in-law lives, that has 4 or 5 people, that's in the middle of that, and they come out, and they don't know whether
Right,
it's
they don't
red,
think going
blue, whatever.
Yeah.
But that sounds like that's been taken care of.
I had a green light the other day and met one of their own construction trucks, and he was not very happy with me. And I was like, dude, your light said go, it's not my fault.
I went through on one and they made me back up, stop
Yeah,
back
me
up. It was
too.
green, but they made me stop
Me
and
too.
back up.
So I asked the engineer, Justin there, I said, you know, I would much rather, these areas that have popped up like this, I'd like to see them taken down, maybe minus 18 inches, get rid of the rocks, put some gravel back and so on, but I got quickly shut down on that.
Yeah.
Well, there's at least
They
5.
haven't been the most comfortable people to work with, and I guess if I'd have known the way this was going, I'd have been a real jerk in the beginning. You know, because this isn't the way we normally have things done.
Could we have asked for a
Well, for one
bond?
thing, they've never lived up to anything, that initial meeting we had with them, it sounded like everything was gonna be hunky-dory and everything was gonna run smooth and everything. And they've never lived up to what they promised us at that first meeting, you know?
You know, when you look at Wright Pierce is a big company, right? So they're the engineers that hired for the water district, represent the job, do all the work, and it costs what it costs, right? So you know there's a spec book this thick, okay?
Right.
And so it doesn't seem like this company, or the disconnect between the oversight and the work, you know, the town should not have had to step in. You know, the standards should have been higher than maybe what we needed to involved with, and clearly it's sort of been very shocking.
If I-
Somebody's been advocating for the town.
If I'd have been a paid position
An owner's job.
as road commissioner, I would have had hundreds and hundreds of dollars involved with defending the town that we shouldn't have to do.
That's right.
Not that you don't do this, I mean, we've done work like this over the years ago. We've never encountered this kind of a situation.
Look at the Miller Road down there. I mean, they tore it all up, they put it back correctly, and it was done. It had done it, they did it efficiently, quickly, and it was over and done. We've never gone through, I've had more complaints about this job than anything I've ever had in the
Well, for
30 years I've
example,
been doing this.
to be brief and not take your time, but they're getting like $175 or $185 a ton, as I was told. Don't correct this, please. For this temporary, for this kind of paving, right? So I had quite a discussion the other day with the lady in charge of the grant. And I said, for that kind of money, you could pave the road. We had our paving done this year for a little over $80 a ton. So we could have paved that many tons could have been applied to resurfacing the entire road. But you can't talk with them, there's no way to go with it.
Well,
So all we can do is wait and see.
I do appreciate all the time you put into
Well, no, it's fine, I enjoy, I don't enjoy arguing, but I think it has to be defended, that's all.
Would there be value in the power in the spring? or-
Oh, I absolutely, I am, me personally, I'm adamant that we do that. Before we allow, because they still have 600 feet or 500 feet or 700 feet left to do. And before they start again, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to.
what are our options? What can we do?
They aren't coming, as far as I'm concerned, they're not coming from where they're gonna continue laying pipe. They're not coming back this way on the Boston Road. Not with their trucking.
Yeah, well, that's right, that's
They
one of
should
the,
never have done this to
Yeah.
start with up the end of that. I told him the other day, I said, the road was posted, you people just kind of neglected, you didn't give a hoot about what we put up the signs, and we had every right, I called Maine Municipal, we had a right to do that. And they just kind of jeered us off.
see, they're hauling their excavation data to the industrial park. So when they come up Middle Road, they go across the road to the industrial park and get rid of the pavement, the blades, whatever.
If we could get the sheriff's department
Well,
to back us up on it.
well, no, yeah, so two things, I think we need to, we can talk about this another time, I think we need to get together as a board, put together, and with the road commissioner, put together a whole list of concerns. We need to have a serious meeting about this. We do have a street opening permit thing, we have all that, we didn't have to enforce that because we knew the job, and it's engineered, and I don't think we're supposed to have to deal with all this. But anyway, we're the winner, we've got to.
Thank you, Jack. Did Chris give us a written?
Yeah, it's right there.
It's right in front of me.
This was their job, even though it was
Basically, what he's saying is the Bailey Bluff thing with the Harper family is progressing.
Oh, good.
Stick up.
This dragged out for another week to clarify the proof. The price came in at $5,000 more than they expected, so they are negotiating that. And to clarify, the pruning is in hope that the regrowth of the hardwoods in the area will have the best opportunity to survive. There's 30 trees to be planted, the same amount required on the earlier contract. Staying at the same, even with the pruning. Said he spoke with the lady involved, and she understands that it's a fair proposal, and she's ready to sign the contract. Her only concern is if there are any other fees from the town would be tacked onto this. I'm asking the town to determine if this contract will meet the needs of the town, or will there be additional fees to be added. I think we've said right along that we weren't gonna be punitive with them as long as they did what they were supposed to do. But I don't wanna go on record as saying that.
No, I don't think we should commit to anything until they.
Right, until we see what they're gonna do,
That's
because this has dragged on for almost 2 years,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
2.5 years.
Right.
And you know, they have never met what we asked them to do up to this point. So I don't wanna go on record now saying that we're not going to
Right.
enforce any of our ordinances.
That's right, we should reserve that,
Well, what Chris told me was that, she was hemming and hawing on the 21,000. And there were emails that were back and forth. between Chris and Jorgensen, and what Chris has finally said, you know, that Jorgensen is set a fair estimate for you, and he wants to make sure that this gets taken care of, that 21,000 is a good price for them of what they're willing to do. You know, they guarantee their work. They're going down a steep embankment to do the replanting. And, you know, he wants to make sure that if he needs to reach out to Jorgensen again, that you know, he'll work for him. So Chris was asking if he thought the board, and Teresa thought, you know, if, as long as they commit to the 21,000, that the select board would be happy with that, because we had initially put in that consent agreement that, what, 50,000?
Or 30, wasn't it? 50? Yeah,
I thought it was
or
50, yeah.
Okay.
And I think we had amended it to where as long as the work was done to the specifications. And Chris was pleased with how Jorgensen's,
I would say that if they sign the contract and the work is started in the spring, and it looks like it's moving on, then we would, you know, we've said from day one that we didn't want to be punitive with these people, but let's face it, they were warned 3 times to stop cutting, and they kept cutting.
Right.
They violated, this is a state law
Right.
that we're enforcing. And I think, I don't wanna say right now that there wouldn't be anything,
Right.
but
Well,
Right.
we've said right along that as long as they have the work done and done properly, that we wouldn't be punitive and we wouldn't fine them.
right?
Right, because the way I recall it is they gave us $5,000, right?
Yep.
And we incurred an expense with Walter, and I don't know if we've settled up completely.
No.
We keep incurring expenses with the attorney here and there and whatever, so they gotta get going. I mean,
We
they
have
gotta-
settled up with Walter?
No, I don't think we have totally, have we?
I don't think we have
I
totally.
think he said he didn't want to submit that until it was.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet with what we've spent with the attorney
Yeah,
and Chris's time
Yeah, well,
and everything, we've eaten up that 5,000 and then some.
I agree. So what a premature to ask us to forgive before we get time.
Right, when they haven't
Right,
Yeah.
so
done their
at this
side.
point, I would say that we're not gonna go on record as saying
Right.
that we're not gonna ask for some reimbursement. But it would
Unless
be,
they, yeah.
we would be as fair with them as we possibly can, see it as how they have ignored us for 2.5
Yeah, looks to
years.
me like they need to prove it to us now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball is in their court. Okay. EMS director, Danny.
It's not a lot to report this month. We've had 7 calls so far in November, not many. 4 patients transported. The connectivity project installation that you approved me to sign the form for, the equipment has been installed in the trucks already. They came within like a couple of days.
Wow.
But I'm waiting for the login information and the ISP, all the technical stuff to actually get the system running. So waiting for that and to get on the FirstNet and off of Verizon. And we're also still waiting for the application for the state, the Blue Ribbon Commission money that was approved. Still waiting for the application for that. And so in a holding pattern, we're also, again, we have a training on the 29th with Dr. Giverson from Midcoast Hospital on treating hypothermic patients. You're all welcome to come. Dinner will be provided.
You're not, this isn't a way to get us to be patients, right?
Yes, it might be.
Yeah.
And if you go sit in my office, you'll get hypothermia. So, I mean, we can. But if you're welcome, if you just want to sit in, anybody's welcome to, I mean, not everybody, but, yeah, and that's all I have today. And I did turn in for the warrant article for the.
And Sean, you let him know that we did meet with.
Yeah, told him on
It's
that.
gonna take a little time.
Yeah.
But,
I did it.
Set the lights.
I just went for a pair of socks. And
yeah, the board remembers though that there's a heat problem in that room and then there's a heat problem in that room, right?
Did you check the batteries?
Easy.
my socks?
No, we had a thermostat problem.
Oh.
We had no heat on Monday.
No. The heater in there is based off the old baseboard heater, so.
It only runs when it
Just so
runs.
you know, if any of these things are not lit up blue, they need new batteries.
Except
We
for
learned that.
except for this one.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah, the heat guy said that when you go to set the temperature, if they don't light up blue, that means they're failing and anyway, so we're all good right now.
Yes.
double A batteries, not a big deal. Okay, thanks, Dan. Sean?
We've had 3 calls so far this month, nothing too crazy. I have in front of me the finalized grant for the forestry grant. It's gonna be $9,600 grant. Need the board's approval to match it with $4,843 and change. Out of the grant account thing, what is it called?
What was that for? What was that for?
Forestry equipment, it's all listed on there. There's a forestry pump, there's more gear for them, helmets.
So they're gonna give it, it's at $9,647.79.
Yep.
And we're gonna cost us $4,823.86.
Exactly.
Which is 50% of the total,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I'd say that's a good deal. I would say I would
That's great.
entertain a motion to allow this grant to go forward.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Those in favor? We have our permission to do it.
Perfect, thank you. And then these are 2 bills I need approved. One of them is for engine 2, the phone system that we chatted about. And that is gonna take some time to get. And the other one is to replace the hose that was blown in the post testing earlier in the month.
Do you have, talking the hose first, do you have this in your budget?
Yep, I have a hose line already for that.
What happens to bad hose?
He's donated, he was
Yeah, let's talk about the
built
truck.
trucks, use it for dog engine.
Okay.
Let's talk about the truck, $4,304.49.
Yep.
Do you have that in your budget?
Yeah, different areas, but yeah, I do.
Well, sorry, I asked a question. You threw out 2 different numbers the other day. Is that,
Yep.
is that the
That's
total?
the one to fix it.
So
We're
that-
already in $2,000, already into the truck.
You're right, 28 or 20 something,
Yeah,
right?
20, so he hasn't given me that bill yet, but that was to service the pump and do the annual stuff on the actual pump itself. That's normal.
And you have that money.
Yeah, that's already in there. I have this too, but I have to pull it from a different area. But we're not spending money on anything else right now until I get everything fixed. But
So it's the driver board, it's basically a
Elec-
motherboard. that's-
electronics, yep.
Yeah.
And to clarify, this is the new one, right?
Yep, this is a new
This is
truck.
what We're still paying payments on, right?
$3,834 just for the motherboard to run this thing.
Jeez.
You ain't telling me you got one of these things?
It probably has an NFIB sticker on it, that's why.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be $89.90 at Staples, you know.
Yeah.
What is the time frame, gentlemen?
I was told, the Hale told the dealer 6 to 8 weeks for the part. However, the dealer has also told me that he's had a similar instance with another department that's had a very similar truck set up,
I don't see
and they were 9 months.
I don't see where we have any choice. If we want the phone system to work, we gotta spend the money.
Yeah,
If you've got it in your budget, that's great.
yeah,
If it turns out to be a hardship, we can always go back and reimburse him some of it out of the catastrophic.
Does this mean you can't
no,
use
so,
this truck?
yeah, I was just gonna say, to clarify, so the truck is back, the truck is in service with water.
Okay.
The dealer and I tried about it, we completely they've disengaged the phone system, so we can't even try to run the
Okay.
phone, right now.
But it's still.
So it still pumps water, which is fine,
Yeah.
but the whole purpose of that truck is the foam and the
Right.
the air compressor
Right.
system.
And this-
Every fire we've responded with that truck,
Okay.
we've saved because of that truck.
And this is original equipment, and it came out of new.
Yeah.
This is the one we paid the payment on.
Yeah.
Not on warranty by chance.
How old
Yep,
how old's that truck?
it's a 17 chassis, we got an 18.
2018?
I would move we do this, I would move to approve this and you use your money and then,
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I like to do it, me personally, I like to see us do that is, we do as tight as we can and then in May or
Yeah.
whatever, if we run into a little glitch, but, I mean, if you're willing to do
Yeah,
that's.
I've still got, so just to remind us, so I've still got tires ordered for engine 3 that we approved a couple meetings ago.
You had that money?
Yeah, I had that money. I'm gonna get that ordered, and then I'm gonna have to pay the butt bill when we get it to fix the truck, so. Just want to remind you that that's
The
where we're at.
motion is to,
Yeah, so, yeah, move to approve both, yeah, both of those actually, I guess.
and there's a second?
Yep.
Those in favor?
Because you said, we just signed one, right?
I have to point out that we've put out fires in this town for 200 years with just water.
Yeah,
I know, right?
absolutely.
Well, yeah.
But foam and air make a big difference.
Okay.
This no longer contains PFAS.
While we're talking to Sean, let's jump down to the appointment of a WEMA director. I understand that we have a candidate.
Yep, I would be willing to do it, and we can chat about next year's budget on it, but I'd be willing to finish, I'll finish this year out at, you know,
Okay,
as needed.
Okay,
great,
we'll
thank
talk
you.
about next year's budget.
Yep.
When we get ready to do
Yep.
next year's budget.
Yep.
So a motion to appoint,
Can I just clarify though?
okay.
I just want to be, for clarification, so we, you know, have $600 for the whole
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So are you looking for, we've been doing $50 a month, right?
Yeah, but I don't, it just goes as one lump sum,
So
so
we-
two monthly payments.
Okay, so we give, no, for clarification, we give him the $600 to cover till July 1?
Right.
Is that the way, no, is that the
I
way?
mean,
You understand?
in my theory, who else has been doing it since then? I mean, Danny and I have been running the department.
Yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just want to
That's
make sure
my
that,
understanding.
We both go to all the meetings for EMA.
Yeah, we both
And
attend
we would
everything.
spend $600 one way or the other.
oh, no, I'm just meant for clarification, because I know what's been talked about.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would move that we appoint Sean to the position till, well, whatever, this year, July 1, whatever the term is.
Yeah.
We,
And then you get the $600 stipend.
okay, is there a second?
Second,
Those in favor? Okay,
with gratitude, thank you.
congratulations.
There's lots of stuff in my
Yes.
office.
We'll get you your special hat and we'll
Your first
show
report
it.
is due by December.
Hey, about the big storm, there's a big storm coming tomorrow night too. We just-
Out of
Okay,
town.
all right, let's, do you have anything on the old business?
No?
Okay,
Well, real quickly, are we all set with Mr., did that go okay today?
Oh, yeah, he came in, Mr. Carver.
Yeah, so we're all set with that? and
Yeah,
then
okay.
We're all set
What
with
do we
Everything's out
Mr. Carver came and paid for the property,
for the property on Hall Road.
the $3,000 piece of property.
Oh,
Yeah, he came today, so the board knows, so.
Following the quick lane, yeah.
The quick lane.
And then Kristen's supposed to do Exhibit A,
Yes, which
and
is,
then once I get that, then we'll follow the turnaround easement.
right, yeah.
We're good.
good,
Thank you.
that's excellent. Get rid of the useless stuff. Okay, new business, land race.
Hey,
How'd you
Hi.
go, Dave?
Hi.
We work fast.
Yeah.
Right,
Much
you
faster
have
than
the
other meetings I've
application
been in.
there. So this is just a renewal for their license, so we just need to.
This is a recreational,
How's it going?
retail recreational.
It's going well.
Adult use
Yeah.
recreational.
Yes.
We're requesting, so complete section 3,
All right,
okay?
all right, so, the ordinance or warrant article in effect allows some type of cannabis establishment to be within the municipality, including the type of cannabis establishment the person is currently operating in the municipality. I'd say yes. You all agree with that? Good.
Sounds reasonable.
Has the ordinance or warrant article authorizing the operation of some or all types of cannabis establishments been amended or otherwise revised since the cannabis establishment listed in section 1 requested local? If yes, attach a copy. If no, we don't have to attach a copy. We have not advised it, I don't think.
The only thing we did was the fee. We did,
Alright.
Yes.
we did amend the fee. I don't know
Yes.
if that, they need to see that or not, but we went from the 250 to 500.
I can attach a copy of that.
Yeah.
Just for
right.
clarification.
So I'll check it off as yes, and we'll attach a copy.
That's all I remember was the.
Does the person requesting the renewal of local authorization to operate the cannabis establishment continue to demonstrate possession or entitlement to possession of the licensed premises of the cannabis establishment? You do have a lease, or you own the building, or whatever?
Oh, we do own the building.
Okay.
Nothing has changed in the.
Nothing's changed.
No.
Okay. We'll check that as yes. So do we do the whole of section 3, because we messed this up last time?
I know.
We did the
Let me
whole
read it.
section, and I don't think we do 3? Do
So,
we do 3C?
local authorization required, okay. Yes, we do that, yeah, because that's still section 3, we don't do section 4.
Okay.
So we need just this one
All
there.
right. Has the person obtained all applicable municipal approvals, permits, licenses that are required in the municipality for the continued operation of the adult use cannabis? I'd say yes.
Yep, he owes his $500 renewal fee, which he has a check for, and we're good to go.
Okay.
So that's it?
Yep, so we just need to sign that.
Okay, I sign it?
Yep,
Okay, a motion to allow me to sign this would be in order?
So moved.
Second.
You guys are always so happy to put me in the hot seat.
This is David King's.
Thank you, good luck.
Thanks, have a great
Yeah,
night. Those
thank you.
involved,
Have
those
some
in
smart-
favor? Okay, we all voted to allow me to sign this.
So does he take the form or does Kim?
No, I have to send it in. Thank you. Have a good night.
He is. Yeah, he is. I know. Because I had a question about that. There was an approval, the planning board approved a facility in the industrial park. It's not, don't use this. So, yeah, because we don't have medical ordinance.
He has to sign
But
this
it went through
too.
site plan.
You have to notarize it.
It's one of the butters. I mean, they did.
Right below my
Right.
signature, he has to sign it, and you have to notarize it.
Well, we look into it. I called
Um,
him.
Legal name, title, representative, signature. No, that's not right. This was just for you to, print your name, legal name, and then your signature. So you need to sign.
Wait, that is not the way I read it.
Well, okay, so
Right here,
legal name,
signature.
legal name and
So
title,
I had
Yep.
and then your signature. That's your legal name, you just have printed that, and then your signature goes there, so sign there.
Oh,
The one with the good
stuff, okay?
he said?
I promise.
And you've got to notarize.
I will notice.
I thought you said that
was the one with
the good stuff.
Yep, 15.
Oh, wait a minute.
I always find it easy to share contact.
It's right next to the retro store.
I think
Jackson.
I
Okay,
But you won't go look it up in the
stamps.
all right.
I said we could, wonderful.
Approval of special town meeting warrant.
They offered us.
Come on, Glenn, pay attention.
Not sample.
Approval of special town meeting warrant. Article 1, elect a moderator. Article 2, see if the town vote or authorize the select board or designee to enter a purchase and sale agreement to sell the land on George Wright Road. And Article 3, to see if the select board will accept funds from the state of Maine CDBG program for the hot box. And then an ordinance, to see if the town will vote to amend the EMS building ordinance to raise the transport mileage rate to $20 per mile. The current rate is $17.
Did we find out whether we have to,
Is it too
whether
late?
we can just, we have to adjust the whole ordinance and as we approve it?
Is
Or
it,
whether,
I don't know, but would it make sense for us to put some wording in here to see if the town will amend the EMS building ordinance to allow the transport mileage rate to be adjusted as per Medicare? Allowable
I
rates?
looked into that, and I think we're gonna need, we should sit down enough time. I think we're gonna need to work with Kristen and look at the Medicare law to figure out how to do that. And I think it's likely that we're gonna need to kind of refresh the whole ordinance,
This goes right here.
maybe for the town meeting in the spring.
Yeah, this is where you're going.
Yeah, if we could do that, because that would make more sense than having to have a special town meeting every time Medicare changes their mind.
right, right.
Tommy and I talked about this yesterday, or whatever day it was, and quickly, and I recommended we do that. It's like, right now, we need to do this, it's only 4 or 5 months before the town meeting.
Okay.
It would take effect immediately, and it looks to me like the whole ordinance needs to be, the entire ordinance needs to be
It
amended.
needs to be rewritten,
Right.
clarified.
There's a lot of stuff that's.
Yeah, it's not necessarily to change, pull the wool over anybody, but to get
Let's
it up to
face it,
speed.
Medicare drives this, right?
Right.
I mean, you can bill them $980, and they're gonna say, well, we're gonna pay $127, like it or not, and you've gotta take the $127.
They
right?
pay $12.60 something.
But if
But it's
Medicare,
the insurance companies that have to
Right.
pay up to 280% or 200%
But
of
the-
Medicare.
right, this is being done because that limit is going to be limited
But
to
again,
5%,
though,
right?
Medicare drives the bus here.
Yes, but we
you know.
can't.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
passengers, we don't get to drive
But
the bus.
even, no matter how much Medicare raises it, after January 1st, we won't be able to raise our rates by more than 5% a year.
Right, I'm
So
confident
that's
too,
why.
that you're right, that the attorney can craft some sort of language, right, that allows.
Yeah.
So is everybody happy with what I've just read? Okay, and a motion to sign this is in order?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
And what's the date and time?
Okay.
Of the special town meeting?
December 6th, December 6th, first meeting in December, 6:00 PM. And Michael Fields cannot be the moderator, so Ted Hoke is gonna do it.
Oh, good.
That's for sure.
Convinced him?
Yeah, he's wasn't
Does
too
it-
happy.
Somebody, I mean, one of, Eloise Vitelli's done a Rouse's Town meeting for a really long time.
What?
What-
I have a question. So, we've already printed that price for that land, 75,000?
Yeah, it's already listed, it's on the market.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, it's on,
I don't want somebody to come over and say, you know, well, it said 75, not 90.
and where did you get the 90 from?
I got that from David.
I thought he was interested.
Are you making an offer, is that what this is?
Somebody
I
called
was
today and
trying
said
to
they
do
wanted
me
to
a
buy it.
favor and
was
sell it to
making
me
an
for
offer.
90,000.
He said, what will you take for the land? I said 90,000. He said, sure, but now he's reneged.
Oh, I don't think it'll last long.
Yeah, somebody
It's
called
literally-
me yesterday and
Okay,
wanted to buy it.
Yeah, so move the second.
Let's get back to work. We've all moved it, we've seconded it, we've voted in favor of it. We've now got to sign it.
Debbie, you got a job to do here somewhere.
Yeah.
We stuck
All
you
right.
in.
Getting old.
Williams Family Cemetery discussion. We've had a gentleman, a Lieutenant Colonel Williams,
Williams.
that has discovered that his family had a cemetery off the mountain road. And it hasn't been used since 1830. But he has requested us to look into putting up some, evidently two of his great-great-great-grandfathers are buried there. Grandfather and uncle, great-uncle are buried there, and they were Revolutionary War soldiers. Now, the law says that nobody can prevent us from working on the cemetery, but there's nothing in the law that says we have to work on the cemetery. We don't have any funds for it. So Jason has talked with Jerome Bailey,
Yep.
and Jerome has had interaction with this Mr. Williams before, this Colonel Williams before. And Jerome's gonna get with him and see exactly what he wants and what he expects and everything. And I guess he cannot be denied access to get down there and clean it up and everything. But there are no headstones. The graves were just marked with a rock, a fieldstone. And, you know, since 1830, it's kind of grown over. So to find this thing is, he gave us specific
Well, Jerome gave
GPS
specific,
location.
yeah, what he said, I mean, I understand now where it is, and maybe you know where it is.
So it's down behind where the old schoolhouse is.
Yeah, I know, I've talked with these ones.
But it's on private property,
The old house.
so I don't, it would be a can of worms for the town to get involved with this, because there's little graveyards all over this town, and if we start spending money on one, we're gonna spend it on all of them.
Well, Jerome made a good point too, though, that
Yeah,
when you read what he wrote, is he asking for?
I wasn't clear what he was asking.
Right, well, the law says that the municipality cannot be denied access to this, so obviously they can't be denied access to it, right? So is he asking for that, because when his list, he wants to go down and put a fence
He
up?
was asking, so he could maintain that, so he wants to, you know.
He wasn't
Right,
asking.
so he wasn't asking us to do it necessarily, right? That's
He
the
wants
great.
recognition for the town to honor, or some kind of,
Yeah, but then he also talked about honoring, in other communities.
and he wants a memorial, yeah.
Yeah, like Anson or wherever.
Right.
So those are.
I just wanted
yeah.
to, you know, I gave you the information, the letter that he had sent to us, so just we could discuss it. I don't know if there's something that if we want to invite him to a meeting.
Well, I don't know if you've heard the rest of that conversation earlier with Jerome. So Jerome is going to reach out on our
Okay.
behalf and
talk to him,
fill us
and
in.
then maybe at some point, we'll have him and Jerome come in and talk to us.
Yeah.
But if you remember
It's
correctly,
fine.
a few years ago, we approached this at town meeting, and the town meeting voted not to fund, you know, this.
Right,
Well,
well, we may be revisiting
Well,
that based on.
right, we may have to revisit it this winter in budget, but what we do know is veterans' graves are one thing, but putting fences up and
Right,
doing all that stuff has nothing to do with any of
yeah,
that.
I mean, the main law, main statute talks about maintenance, it doesn't talk about.
But in the
directing-
case of a cemetery like this, where there are no headstones, just field stones, how do you know whose grave's who?
Exactly.
Right, so which grave do we put the flag on?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think if
Which,
we were gonna do anything,
which
we'd
stone marks the grave?
we'd just put a flag holder down there, a single one, and stick a flag in it every year, you know? Because there's
If something
supposedly,
is done, I think that the DAR would put, on the Revolutionary Soldiers' graves, I think the DAR would get markers.
but there's 28 graves there. and they're marked with a rock.
Yeah.
How do you know which
You might just
one?
put a generic for the whole
28 rocks.
place.
Well, that's the thing, I would think if we knew there's 2 Revolutionary War veterans buried there, we'd just get 2 flag holders, put 2 flags up
You seen it?
generically.
Well,
No,
and
but I've talked to them.
Debbie, regarding the DAR, wouldn't the DAR want to do its own research that these were indeed actual?
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't happen until it.
Right, just because he said so, doesn't mean it would happen, right?
But didn't he have
There's a
somebody from the
process.
state go down with
He
them?
did, yeah, Jerome said that they went to the site, and somebody from the state came and, you know, and, so, short story, we conveyed to Jerome, because he seemed to talk to this fellow, that obviously, you know, we reminded him of the article that got defeated years ago, we have no funding for this. He seems to understand, I think, that, you know, you're welcome to speak to this fellow and see what,
Yeah.
things don't happen overnight.
So let's just wait until Jerome gets back to us and either he and Mr. Williams or he comes
Yeah,
and we'll, you know, we'll talk to him, but I would be really hesitant to commit any funds to it because again, there are these little cemeteries all over town. And
How would you get access to it? I mean, it's cross private property to get to it.
well, that's the
Well,
funny
you see,
part
that's
of
the
the law,
thing,
law
is the
says
state law says that you cannot be denied access
Right.
to
Family.
improve a ancient burial ground. And,
so that would involve the landowner at some point, maybe.
well, that's the thing, and I would think the landowner would be able to set some kind of criteria when you can come and go and how you get in there and everything, okay? I don't think you can bulldoze a road in or anything.
But that would be up to the town to grant that responsibility, right?
Well, it could be though, so the way the law says
All the
that-
law says is, yeah, go ahead.
No, the way the law is written that way, it may be our position to have to secure that access somehow. Maybe restriction, maybe criteria or rules or whatever, things that go with it, so we may end up, so if this gets down the road, we may have to bring, it's Rue's property, a former Rio
Yeah.
property, right?
Yeah.
So whoever these new folks that bought it, we may have to bring them into a room, bring this guy into a room and say, look, this is what it says, how do you wanna do it? If he says, well, I want you to go down the driveway, only on Monday and Tuesday when you call me or whatever, and go in, I don't know, I don't really, we never dealt with it before.
This isn't really germane to the conversation, but I wonder if when you buy a property like that,
The cemetery owner.
if the owner knows that there's an ancient burial ground there, do they have to disclose
I
that?
think they do. I think they do.
But, I mean,
But
it's
they didn't
possible, I mean,
know.
since 1830, this property's probably changed hands
Yeah.
50, 100 times, you know? I mean, I
But-
wonder if
yeah.
anybody, I wonder if the current owners even know that they have a
Somebody'd
cemetery.
have to check the deed.
He says it's 250 to 300 feet off the mountain.
I never knew about it. I was up there the day the man came, I was introduced to him, and drove, he was talking, and, but I didn't really get into it. Can I ask a question, quick, Mike?
Sure.
Somewhat relevant to the cemetery. I was asked by the gentleman that owns, the old John, no,
Good horses, old house.
was that, not the horses, was it? No.
Oh, Michael Sherwood's?
You know, Mr. Sherwood's old house, about if we, the town, would do any work on the road going into the Twins Point Cemetery. And I drove over there and looked at it, and I can't see where there's any need of it, that needs anything done. Mr. Sherwood had hired somebody in the past to do some work for the road so he could get to his cottage, but I didn't say, so has anyone said anything to you, Kim?
Nope.
That's the
John
only
McCoy
reason
is-
anybody wants some work done, would be so they could get to the cottage.
Yeah,
Which
right, okay.
John Kokoris
Seems
left the
unrelated to
town some money
cemetery.
for the upkeep of that cemetery, I believe.
Well.
Right, there is,
I don't know how much.
so,
Cemetery.
it's the Twins Point Cemetery, so we were, so it's the Veterans Day program, so Roger Braun has been mowing it and taking care of it at no charge, and he wants to do it. This is, for whatever reasons,
Yeah.
right? What we know about it is there's public right-of-way or access to the cemetery.
Right.
To my knowledge, and I don't know, I think my father's, the town has never put money into that. When Mr. Sherwood built his cottage, he improved the access, and.
That was on him.
That was on him. We don't, nobody plows it, nobody does it, it's
The
nothing like that.
road, just to get on the record, the road going up to the cemetery, to get to the cemetery is good.
Yeah.
It needs nothing. And I kind of felt like, and I don't want to say this wrong, but I kind of felt like this was more alluding to the cottage than to the cemetery. But there's nothing that the town needs to do, and if it did, it would be minor.
But we shouldn't do that though, because what we know from
Yeah.
legal
No,
responsibility,
Don't do
what,
anything.
yeah, don't do anything, because once we do it, if you haven't done it in 40 years,
We haven't done it, no.
right, then we don't, that would be another discussion we don't want to start.
Yeah, no, I don't think we want to spend money on the road up there, but I know John left some money for the upkeep of the cemetery itself.
Right, that's one of those,
And I thought the people that lived there were doing some basic care.
I thought so
of the place.
too.
I thought he was
Roger
too.
Ron has taken over. it.
Right, the Michael guy that, you know, I thought he was, his name's Michael too, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought he was too, but then Roger had said the last couple of years he's willing to do it, and he just
He
like,
could take over.
said he likes to mow, I guess, so.
The guy in John's old house,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure he's done anything to.
He has done some.
I thought he had his mowing guys mowing. I don't know.
It's not a
Okay.
question.
But I mean, I just wanted to make sure we didn't accept any responsibility, that's all.
Yeah.
Right.
So, real quick, clarification about the whole cemetery thing. Is it that the town has access to a cemetery, or that the family has access?
I think anyone
The
is.
family, okay.
Anybody that wants to
But
visit
we-
the cemetery.
It
Say
said,
what?
Anyone that wants to visit the cemetery.
No, I think I think the state requirement is only that it must allow a family member. And so I was puzzled about how the town.
But it did say
Well, I
municipality.
It didn't say
I-
municipality in the statute, but I think that's a, municipality was to take on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It cannot prohibit the municipality from
Right,
accessing the,
yes.
right, there's, especially this ancient
Yeah.
burial ground.
the way I read
Yeah.
it, the municipality can grant access to somebody else.
Board probably has the same number.
It says the municipality
Yeah.
and the
Designate,
designee.
right, it doesn't mean we have to do it.
In other words, we could grant Roger Braun.
Or this Williams guy, if this
or
Williams guy wants
we
to
could
go
say to
there.
this Williams guy, you have our permission to go in and do it, but he'd still have to work it out, I would think, with the homeowner.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think
Phil,
that would.
Phil has some information about that.
I didn't think
About
about that
cemeteries.
specific.
Well, if you had, like you were doing genealogical research or historical research, you can, basically the protocol is you have to ask permission of the owner.
Yeah. But it's hard to do that kind of research when the graves are just marked with a rock.
Well,
I mean, unless they engraved on the rock who's
That's
there,
right.
but my understanding,
Yeah.
these are just rocks.
say the, Wiscasset behind the veterinary there, I can't think of his name, but, there's the same thing. There's Native Americans that were buried there and they're marked in stones. If you go there, you can clearly see it's a cemetery, there's tombstones, but there's one section where they bury the Native Americans, they just use rocks.
There are rocks at the Preble Monument at Hunter's house. There's the monument, but then there's
Right.
rocks.
Rocks, yeah.
Unlabeled rocks.
Yeah.
So you don't know,
You don't know.
unless there was
You don't know
some
who's
record
buried
kept.
under which one, no.
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
It looks like it's municipalities that are guaranteed access, not individuals. I'm just looking at the,
But does it also say their designee or their agent or?
That we can assign.
yeah, municipality can assign caretakers. so.
That's where it gets sticky, if this guy says, I wanna go in there and do
Oh,
this.
that's different,
I
okay,
want
that's
to-
different than what I was.
Roger found.
Anyway, all right.
I think the only way I would be comfortable giving him permission to do it is if he worked it out with the
It's
landowner.
gotta be a big problem, yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else to come before the board tonight?
I have just one thing. I want to congratulate Allison and Jason on their win for select board. Congratulations.
They won by a landslide.
I know.
Well, you guys did a very good
You're
job.
stuck with us all for another year.
You guys
Another 3 years. 3 years.
Dale won on the write-in.
Okay,
Dale.
motion to adjourn,
So moved.
is there a second?
Yeah.
Motion